reflects how deeply India's manufacturing sector is transforming and how consistently industry has remained committed to shaping that transition. Now what I have here is a nicely prepared speech talking about, the challenges of smart manufacturing, where we are going, what the government is doing, but my predecessors have sort of covered most of these issues. So I'm going to abandon the prepared speech that I have and maybe focus on just 3 points. The first is, and all my previous speakers have touched upon it, but I think this bears repetition. The first is the challenge of the MSMEs. Now, as somebody who works in development policy, as somebody who looks at the challenges of, the Indian employment, some of the largest employers are the MSMEs. And MSMEs will go through some kind of transition going forward. The challenge is, how do we work with the MSME clusters? How do we ensure that that transition brings India to the forefront of competitiveness in advanced manufacturing? This is a challenge, and I would like to actually think about what kind of thoughts you have in terms of how do we work with the MSME clusters, and I hope some of the deliberations through the summit today can come back in terms of maybe a set of recommendations that we take forward to further strengthen the MSME ecosystem and look at how they navigate the digital transition in terms of competitiveness. That is one. The second point that I'd like to talk about is in terms of the servicification of manufacturing. Now, we see that a silent but profound shift is taking place globally, and manufacturing is becoming service-driven. Products are no longer sold alone. They are sold with software layers, digital services, analytics, dashboards, remote monitoring, subscription-based maintenance, and performance contracts. And this servicification of manufacturing creates new revenue models which enhances customer experience and builds long-term relationships. For instance, when I buy a car, I'm not just looking at the car. I'm also looking at what kind of after-sales services the manufacturer has. I'm looking at their networks. So this servicification of the manufacturing industry is also an opportunity for India. And we already excel in IT, we excel in software services, engineering services, digital transformation. And combining those strengths with manufacturing capabilities will give India a competitive edge that few countries possess. And I think this is something that we should build on. Now I will come to the issue of the people, because any transition needs a future-ready workforce. And that, for me, is critical. I think for all of us in the room, it is critical in terms of who are the people who will effect this transition. Who are the leaders, who are the work persons, and how does this transition happen? India's young workforces are a great advantage, but we keep talking about our demographic dividend. It could be a demographic disaster if we don't have a future-ready workforce. And here I'd like to just talk about 3 or 4 things that we're trying to do in terms of working with industry to try and make our workforce better equipped to address the demands that you should be posing on the workforce. In the first place, I'd like to talk about this large program that has been approved by Cabinet, and we are in the process of implementing it. We call it the PM Setu scheme. It is basically about upgradation of 1,000 ITIs across the country in a hub and spoke mode. So really about 200 clusters in partnership with industry. Government is looking at investing about 60,000 crore in this program over the next 5 years. The model is that Government of India will put in about 50% of the money, states will put in about 33% of the money, and industry puts in about 15-16% of the resources. And the ITI cluster is the structure of the ITI, the governance is industry-led and industry-owned. So the chairman of the SPV that is created is from the industry, the CEO is appointed by the industry works. So therefore, wherever you have your industrial clusters, I welcome it would be a very good idea to work with these ITIs to ensure that this infrastructure that is already available is fit for purpose to produce the people that you need.